GT1 leading Celine S7 and the GT2 leading Corvette C6, all making their way through the shot. So after a number of hours trying to rebuild their Lola Judd, the crew have just sent it out, only to find that the wretched thing has gone straight off on its first lap out. And do you know what? That might possibly be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Yes.
Drayson, it would be if only I could even remotely pronounce it. So that's really just rough. Now, okay, Johnny's going to have to bring the car back in again, which is, well, not for another 25 laps, going to drop it behind the J-Lock Lamborghini.
Yeah.
But that Drayson Lola has really had a bit of a laugh at the expense of its mechanics. It's been in the garage for so long now. That total pit stop time of 59 minutes and 10 seconds. Gosh, it must seem like hours more than that. That's got to be wrong.
Take it back and park it.
It must be an hour and 50. They can't have been in just half an hour more than the leaders.
No, they certainly haven't, because they came in somewhere around about 1 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah.
Just about right time when I sort of came on air.
Well, our total pit stop thing only goes to minutes.
Well,
so
they've got it wrong, haven't they?
Well, it doesn't show hours. It doesn't have a column for hours.
No. Hello. What have we done now? Oh, dearie, dearie me, look. We have towed ourselves in, but we've dumped ourselves in a position where we can't get it out without doing further damage to the car.
You know when things aren't going your way, don't you?
You really do. Meanwhile, here comes the DB9. Gets the brakes on, thank goodness those work. Back on the farm, the Corvette.
Still second in the GT1 class, behind the Celine. And having completed 213 laps to 215 of the Celine. Sorry, I've got real sniffles now suddenly. That'll be Liz's perfume as she's come back in. Dindo Capello being shown in replay here as they made their stop. Well, if the Corvette was going slowly, the 63 or 64 car, whichever it was that we couldn't identify, doesn't seem to have made much difference. From Montagny now, no longer limbering up, but at the wheel of car number 2. That Peugeot still leading as it was, went into darkness hours, so it is now being chased by the 2 Audis. And get thee hither, back to the pit lane, thou recalcitrant heap of. Unfortunately, this Lola Judd Coupe, I'm not sure I've actually seen a car be more trouble for a team in a lot of years. And Dale White and his crew will just be so crestfallen after all their hard work to force this car back on track. It completes 1 lap slowly before it heads back in. Good news, bad news time at Le Mans for Drayson racing fans. Their Lola Judd is back out on the track, but as you can see, circulating very slowly.
He's coming back into the pit to get rid of a ton of gravel.
Well, also, I have to say, to try and inspire some confidence, the way the car just snapped around on him under braking at Indianapolis, I can't imagine that he'll be very keen on pushing it in any way, shape or form at the moment. This is like an installation lap for a brand new car now, almost. They've done so many different jobs on it. It comes back in, and Dale White and his boys are waiting for it. Not with any great excitement, I don't think, but with a sense of resignation. Now it is purely a battle of wills. It's them against the car, and whether the car brakes or they brake is entirely a moot point. But if it doesn't get to the finish, it will not be for lack of trying. And that's really what they've got to go for now. There is nothing really left else for them, just to get this darn car to the finish. Final little top up with a couple of litres from that 1 lap. It's done, well, really since before darkness almost. Tyres off to have a look at what's going on.
I think they got so gritted up while he was in the gravel and decided to change them now.
Well, the problem then was, of course, that why was the car swapping ends quite so violently the moment he touched the brakes in Indianapolis, whether it was cold brakes or lack of pressure in the line or a grabbing brake or something, and they're just having a look at it. I think you're going to have to accept the inevitable, boys, and possibly stick it back in the pit garage. Meanwhile, our race leader, Franck Montagny, continues. And this car continues to rack up the laps in the 3-minute 23-24 bracket. So still lapping as fast as the chasing pack. 3 minutes 23.5 last time round for Franck Montagny. Timo Bernhardt 3:24.9, so 1.4 seconds slower on that last lap. Benoit Trullier 3:27.2, so 3.5 seconds slower, but again could easily have hit traffic. Marc Genet pretty much on the leader's pace, a little quicker in fact, 3:23.0. That's the number 1 Peugeot that's in 4th place, but catching half a second a lap only works if you start doing it at the beginning of the race and do it for every single lap till the end of the race. 5th position, Dindo Capello in the number 7 Audi, the delayed Audi. He's doing 3:24s. And in 6th position, car number 4, the second of the delayed Peugeots, and Nicolas Lapierre is doing 3:22s. And Drayson Lola is doing its best, never to be seen again. If a car ever earned a good kicking, this one is certainly high up on the list of vehicles that need to be given the Basel 40 treatment with a big whippy stick.
Probably hurt your foot as a result of it, actually. That's the problem.
Yes, the way their luck's going, if they gave it a swift kick, they'd break their toes. Absolutely right. Now, according to our German colleague Norbert Akenga, they reckon at this race pace the number 11 Drayson Lola Judd needs to cover 10 more laps to complete a projected maximum race distance rather, or their percentage of it that they need to complete. So they've got 8 hours and 23 minutes in which to do 10 laps, and at the moment that might not be an easy task. Car's being sent out again, so it has gone. Johnny Cocker having a second stab at getting a lap out of it, and by getting a lap out of it I don't mean a really hot qualifier really getting a fast time out of it, I mean getting the damn thing to do a lap without falling over. Giancarlo Fisichella getting ready to take over his Ferrari from Jean Alesi. As he comes down the pit road, who's he got behind him? It is the number 6 Orica AIM. That'll be coming in for a regular fuel stop. So Eliari took the car over last time, as I recall, and should stay in it, and does. You can't see that, so just take my word for it as the 95 Ferrari rolls to a halt. And that car now has slowly crept up to 5th place in GT2. And there has been no further sign of the Krone Racing Ferrari, the Risi competition green machine of Nick Johnson, which turned into a green machine with lots of smoke. So we are going to use the marker of doom, I think, possibly preemptively on that one. And I'm going to write engine, because I think that is very much the end of that. And if I had a moment, I would text Fiona just to find out exactly what they think it is, but I've got to say, didn't look like a brake problem there to me.
No, I don't think it was. I have that nasty feeling there was oil where oil shouldn't be and water where water shouldn't be.
Well, there are a number of people staring at the car, and there's somebody staring at the engine bay, but it does seem to be rather terminal there. Oh look, they're still awake in race control, which is always nice. Good. They've got more tellies than us to look at as well. And the Highcroft Acura is in as well. It's a long way down the pit road from where we are. It's only 3 or 4 garages up from Peugeot at pit in, so half a dozen I suppose, so just around the corner of where we're looking. But again, this overhead camera view gives us a great shot of the fuel going in. Perhaps it stays in. And of course he is the second placed car, that Highcroft car, not only in the Michelin Green X Challenge but also in the LMP2 category, which is still being led by that car, Stracker Racing, that's just gone out of shot. Car still leading the pack as through hunts the Audi. Timo Bernhardt charging through traffic.
Well, no doubt about Montagni's position there as the only member of the Peugeot team that hasn't got himself a long stop. Strangely enough, he has actually been stationary. It's probably just a little bit of a trick of the actual pit stops that have been made in the last few minutes. Hello.
Morning, Neville. Carlton Kirby.
Blow me, Carlton Kirby has arrived.
Yes, and just in time to see the 9 car in the hands of Timo Bernhard getting a little bit squirrely, it's got to be said. Yes, slightly out of shape. Might have just taken himself a comfort break. I'm not actually due in here for another 20 minutes or so, so I think the coffee pot may well be calling.
Won't do any harm at all.
No, it's been an interesting one throughout the night, so I hear. And that 11 car, its travails seem to continue on and on. Needs about another 9 laps now, I understand.
Yeah, well, I think he'll probably get that done.
Yeah, that's all based on the race pace of Montagni's lead car. But as you saw, Timo Bernhard there just getting it very, very out of shape. Yeah, we came in and thought, what on earth has happened to the 4 car? Nick Lapierre is, well, they lost 4 laps, we understand, with left drive shaft issues.
Yeah.
A real shame. The 11 car had to change a fuel tank, incidentally, which is a long old circuitous job.
It's not just been a fuel tank with that car.
Oh, no,
there was
that's
a
just
long
the latest thing.
chapter of problems that saw it. Frankly, I think it was actually out of the race in the garage when you went to go and have your sleep.
Fancy coming all the way to Le Mans just to build a car from scratch, and that's just about what they seem to have done.
Well, the first time it took them 12 days, so perhaps they're learning to do it better. The only thing is, it's not working any better at the moment. That's the problem.
So the 9 car coming in, no change of driver, but yeah, it looked a modicum out of shape just a few moments ago, but it just shows what sort of pace they're actually still on here. When you come back and you've had a little sleep, we managed to get around about 4 hours through the night ourselves, which, believe me, is a luxury. We're on board with the 2 car. This is our leader at the moment, and you can see that the pace is absolutely startling out there. And here's the trophy. This is a cabinet. This is what they're actually racing for here. This is what it's all about. Still not sure it's the most beautiful trophy on the planet. I've got to say, it looks like some kind of fountain feature you might find in a dodgy restaurant. But
well, we've heard from the Beast.
It's worth so much, that thing, to just about everybody.
Yeah, we've heard from the Beast, Carlton. We've now got Liz with us as well, so it's Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, thanks very much, Neville. Always nice to come back in the morning to that.
Those trophies, Liz, they are prized indeed throughout the world of motorsport. There's virtually no race more famous than this one. It's been going for such a long time. It's got an amazing history behind it, and they're all desperate to get their names upon it.
It is truly one of the biggest things you could ever win, and frankly, I wouldn't care if it looked absolutely ridiculous and you know, looked like a feature of some randomness. I would still love to win it myself.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
It is one of the highest honours for any sports car racer.
Our scroll feature on the camera, sadly, is full of the usual kind of debris that you get at this time of night. Shame they don't actually give that a scrubbing. And some deep conversation going on with Herr Doctor.
Yeah, well, I think probably, you know, at this stage, they're sort of wondering just what they have to do to just make that little bit of difference. The odd thing is that all of the Peugeots, with the exception of one, had a problem. And I think it was at the start that it was suggested that they would probably try to drive the race at the Audi pace, and if that is the case, then they've succeeded.
This is one of the commissaires that they're having a chat with here, and they all want to hear what's going on, but it looks good-natured. It may well just be a calling card, howdy doody at this stage of the night. They didn't look like there was any kind of roguish appeals going on there, no.
No, I don't think so. that's a mirror that, a lens on the camera that's
yes, rather
opaque,
rather dull,
not helping us very much.
Final pep talk here to all and sundry about keeping focus, I should imagine, Liz.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I mean, this race is looking like it's slowly starting to come back to Audi a little bit. Nice to see that we've got 2 cars in the top 3 now, as opposed to when we left, later on in the night, there was only the 1. So I think possibly their plan of, looking after this car for the race, all the way through the week, they were saying, our job starts at 3 o'clock on Saturday, and I think that's starting to show here now, and it's going to be interesting to see if Peugeot can hold together the number 2 car.
Yes, it is. It's going to be interesting to see further down the order. So many other stories to be told here. Whether the 11 car does in fact get the laps it needs at current race pace. It's all based on just how fast the lead Peugeot is going. And if it has no troubles, our German colleague reckons it probably needs now about 9 laps to be completed. If it's not to be DQ'd because of the percentage rule.
Yeah, that is going to be an issue for them. They've spent so much time in the garage since literally the first few laps of the race, I think, that they do run close to not being within that 75% of the total race laps completed. So I really hope for them. They've worked so hard. I'd just love it if the car could hold itself together now for those crucial 9 laps. Another important thing to say is that in 4th position is still the Peugeot of Marc Genet. We saw those incredible times from him last night. He's still nipping at the heels of the number 8 Audi, so he'll be waiting in the wings for any slight little mistake that could happen, which would pull Peugeot back up into the 1, 2, 3 position, or at least 1 and 3.
Lola Aston Martins, it looks like it's going to be mission accomplished. They determined to be the best of the petrol cars. It looks like they're going to get their wish. At least for the time being, they're in positions 7, 8 and 10. And going very quickly, Darren Turner, he's just monstered that midsection. We'll take a break and we'll be back live at Le Mans after this. Welcome back as we give a nod to the efforts of Martin Haven overnight. He's had a bit of a long one, but if you feel sorry for him, how about the drivers? They've still got over 8 hours of racing remaining. It's a stunning fact. We've only had 2/3 of this. You've got to do it all over again. And if you spin it out that race distance that remains into other series, Liz, it's an impressive tally still to be done.
It is, and I think that's the trouble here, is that when you reach the daylight and it is properly light now, you sort of feel like, oh, we've made it through the night, fantastic. And then you start to think about the fact that you still have so many hours to go, because it is 3 p.m. this race is going to finish, and it's a daunting task.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's about keeping in focus, which is why Herr Doctor down at Audi gathered everyone together and said, listen, this is where you've got to keep your eye on the ball. You actually saw him pointing to his own eye. I think he touched his cheek at the time. Miraculous that we had a handle on where he was going, but that's the joy of having the likes of Liz Halliday here.
I think the problem is that they have kept the pressure on. They've kept the pressure on all night. They've been lapping as near as quickly as they possibly can. I mean, they actually got down with 1 car to a 22, which is faster, I think, than any of the Audis have been round. Now they're still struggling on and hoping that something will come to them, because they've had no reward for goodness whatsoever.
Well, they've also got to deal with Marc Genet, who's pedaling absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah.
He's fought back from about 6th or possibly 7th position at one point. The Audis had the ill fortune, of course, of being picked up by the wrong safety car, in their opinion, during the 5 cars first, the only off, sadly, that ended the Mansell challenge. A little bit of a brake issue here, so I'm dealing with pads. There's a lot of front end pressure on all parts, Liz, and it's clearly an area that needs attention. You've got to get that sorted out. It's your boots.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And this time in the day in a GT car, the brakes have been having a lot of wear on the circuit. We have such fast straights with relatively tight brake zones, and we're looking at sort of 2nd gear, 3rd gear into most of the braking areas here. So certainly that's an area that you'd have to look after that a little bit more in a GT car.
Yeah, the new motor going on here, and Yeah, they've got a very comfortable cushion just for the time being, and let's hope for their sake that this kind of lasts. Although
they had been slowing actually for a bit, and this is the job's being done now.
Johnny O'Connell is on the same lap as Wolf Hensler in the Porsche, which is chasing them down here, and they're not a million miles apart. It's been a little bit of the last couple of years. Porsche's had a bit of a beating, haven't they?
I don't know what it is. They haven't actually lost their way.
No,
it's just that they just needed or need something to give them that little push, because they're finding, I think, life a lot harder.
And the bad news here is for the J-Lock team. They've pushed that Lamborghini into the garage, and it looks like nothing's happening in a hurry. They're all sort of staring at the car and having a few discussions and not looking very pleased. That car has made it a really long way, actually, in my opinion. I have to admit that when we arrived back this morning, I thought, wow, it's still running, and that's brilliant, because
first thing you said when you saw
it was their record here has not been spectacular, especially over the last couple of years. Especially last year. Did they even complete a race lap?
Yeah, they did. But it was slap wrist time, because essentially the car just wasn't worthy of the event, and had they not won, I think it was a race in Yokohama, they probably wouldn't be here. That was the GT1 class at Okayama, and that automatically qualified them for here. They hadn't made any friends last year, a single lap, and as a result, I don't think they'd have got the invitation. But their performance this year, they clearly had to take a step forward. They won the race and got automatic entry here. It's a completely new vehicle. They've moved on, we've moved on. We'll probably forgive them in the long run. But the Japanese Lamborghini Owners Club, which is what J-Lock means, they've actually obviously dug into their pockets and done a job here.
Well, I have to say, they have been running virtually last for most of the race, but in saying that, they have been running. We've got 17 retirements. They haven't been one of them. They have reached the morning, which is far further than I think they've reached in a long time. So we have to give them some credit for that, and I have to say it's not looking very good at the moment.
Well, it's not looking very good, but I think they've probably done it enough to get a finish here, and I think that's what they were after as a primary target. It's been the primary target of a lot of teams, including, of course, Nigel Mansell, who we aforementioned. Thankfully, Nigel's okay. The car very early on in this race, it was really our first incident, but essentially it has cast a long shadow upon the entire race, because Audi felt very, very aggrieved, Liz, that they've been constantly on the chase back ever since.
They did. They were really messed about by those three pace cars, and Audi claiming that they got held up by a GT car initially, who, when seeing the safety car yellow flags came up, sort of lifted off the gas immediately and really slowed, and so they got picked up by the second safety car, which I think they're probably still feeling a little bit upset about. But would they have been able to take that very flawless Peugeot number 2? I'm not sure. It's been very, very quick.
Yeah, I think they'd have been nearer to it, and probably could have maintained the pressure a little bit better.
Yeah.
But and if you look at everything else, I mean, here again we've got the Audi still turning in some pretty quick times. I mean, 322s we thought were beyond it. Don't forget it, we were getting 322s by one driver who was really trying everything he knew. Now we're actually holding on to it.
The 28 Radical Judd, incidentally, we just saw the rotors being changed on the Corvette. Just hugely overshot his pit box. Now, I'm not sure whether it's just a signing issue or whether it's a brakes issue. We'll see in a moment. They're doing a driver's change. We may well get back down there. They're just bedded in nicely behind the RML machine. Number 25, Lola HPD. The HPDs have been a revelation, the powerhouse. They've had their problems naturally enough, but they have ridden them and actually stayed way up there. HPDs 1 and 2 in LMP class. LMP2, just phenomenal.
1 and 2 and 3, in fact, if you're looking at just the engines. Because
yes, we are.
The Lola HPD of Tommy Erdos has also moved his way up into 3rd place. They are currently in pit lane, but he's just fired it up, and it looks like he's heading back out. So
yeah,
it should hang on to that
place. It's a proper block, isn't it, that
now? Yeah. Well, as a creature of the night, now the sun is rising in the sky, shining with all its might.
I didn't realise that, Mark Cole.
It's time for me to go downstairs and happily say Good night.
Thank you, Neville.
Thank you.
Neville Hay doing sterling work, sterling service through the night, and I know that a lot of you on the Up All Night Club are very appreciative of that wonderful cognac and licorice vocal code combination that he provides us every single Le Mans evening. It's fabulous, and long may it continue. We're just checking in on Fernandez here, and there he is running in 7th place. Hancock is at the moment in the 009 in 8th place. It's not bad for the double O's. They've got the 008 Vinny X at the moment, rounding out the top 10. That's a superb performance by them, and it bodes very well for the future. They're talking about taking this development of this machine completely in-house, provided the regs level the playing field ever so slightly between the petrols and the diesels.
Yeah, and I think this just shows us that we really do need a separate class for petrol and diesel, in my opinion, because these guys have worked really hard. They've literally stayed in the exact same position the whole race. I doubt they've really had any problems, because they seem to have not shifted since we left in the night.
They really?
Yeah, they've not really. There's been no drama. So, you know, it goes to show, I think they should get something back for that, because all 3 of those Lola Aston Martins have just carried on.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. They should get something back for that. It's an amazingly expensive thing to do this sort of form of racing, and yes, it's you don't want it to be thankless for long. Coffee time for everybody. Gosh, that smells good. It's almost like smell-o-vision. You can imagine what it smells
Where's
like.
ours?
Yeah, exactly. We've got sort of long, sort of watered-down gravy stuff available here, unfortunately. There's the 2 car. It's out in front and still going quick. A 3:24 on all the 4s, but behind them, Bernard has just posted a 3:22. Now, if you want to go quick in the morning, because just as everyone else maybe just starting to think about doing something else, and Marc Genet, who's been absolutely full on that number 1 car as well, he's just posted a 3:22.723. Now, we know that the cars go excuse me, very well at this time of the day. It's nice and cool, everything's up to temperature on the vehicle. Vision, well, it's just starting to leave them a little bit, because the night time really does give you a certain clarity. They often do go very quick. We've come through that transition stage now. The sun is still behind the trees, not really troubling them too much. It may well start to do so a little bit later on as the 8 car gets on to its sticks here, and Trouillet it is that's on board, running 3rd in class. Now at least those lights are correct.
Well, you can see a lot of these drivers have still got a clear visor on from the night, and it is a very tricky time of day to drive when you come into the dawn, and especially coming into sort of things like the Porsche curves, and you tend to get a lot of fog early in the morning. I remember that myself from 07. It was really quite an interesting experience, and then as the sun comes in, it is extremely bright and really difficult, but the cars are very fast because it is really cool air. It's just a fantastic time of day to post an amazing time.
Yeah, it's almost the time of day you might choose to go on holiday somewhere. It's fantastic. It's got that freshness which we don't have because we've had 4 hours of kip. Suddenly, it just does get you focused though, and thankfully downstairs all of the teams look bright and bushy-tailed. I think they finally realised that this does feel like another day. It's almost like the start feels like a long time ago, and if you have been awake for most of it or all of it, and for those of you on the website, we absolutely salute you, then yes, you feel like you've actually even moved on. It does feel like there has been a proper block of sleep in between. I know we have.
Have we had that much?
Yeah, we have. Yes, Eurosport.co.uk. Mark Cole has just joined us, is at this very moment just going through some of your messages. I know you may have been a bit fallow on that department for a while, but Mark's ready. So go to Eurosport.co.uk, click on message boards. If you scroll down to Motorsports, then you'll find Le Mans. Click on that, and the topic area or the thread is new! Eurosport 2010 Le Mans Live. We assume we haven't heard if there's a new topic, a new thread ourselves. So we'll get on there and have a look, and we'll have a chat with some of you brave souls who've been up all night. I suppose you're possibly even more ragged than we are, but then again we're the singing and dancing monkeys, and you're turning the handle. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, and the 2 car comes in off the lead. Just routine. We can only keep our fingers crossed. Peugeot have had a mixed run, but this car hasn't put a bolt wrong so far, and they're out there and in the front. And joining us is, as we salute, is Mr. Mark Cole. Mark, very warm welcome.
Good morning, friends. You never look more wonderful. Oh, what a day. Sun coming up. We're here at Le Mans. What more could you ask for? Questions already on the Eurosport forum. Liz, you could probably answer this one. This is for the team. Do marshals do 24-hour stints, or do they take shifts like the drivers? They don't look half as tired as I feel.
No, they definitely do take shifts. It's very important that they stay very, very sharp, as I'm sure you can imagine, because they are the ones out there looking after us. And I have to say, it is incredible having good marshals out here, because you really do need it. You need things, even just like the passing flags, makes a huge difference. So no, they do definitely take shifts. I'm not entirely sure how long they are at a time, but it is, I suppose, similar to what a driver would do.
Yeah, I should have said that was from Caterham 7, one of our regulars. A very original name, that. When is Liz back on? Asks Lawrence Hopkins. Well, here she is.
Hello.
All the way from good morning, Southampton. Hope it's as sunny down there as it is here in Le Mans.
Yeah, it's amazing that the weather has actually come to this race. There was all kinds of dread going on, and stories and long faces that this would be a mixed affair. Here's your overall classification. If you've only just woken up, Peugeot and Montagny are leading, and the two. Oh, hello. Now, what were we saying about not putting a bolt wrong? My goodness, that is a curse. And this is big news for Audi, and all of a sudden they're getting very animated down there. They're telling all and sundry. My goodness, talk about curse of the commentator. That is an absolute nightmare, and it's letting go big time here, Mark.
It has indeed, and a lot of, as you can see, flame there. Look at this. This is just what they didn't want. It's the curse of Carlton. He just said the number 2 car hasn't put a wheel wrong. And look at this. Frank Montagny at the wheel. It's over.
It is over by the looks of things. Goodness only knows. Liz?
This looks like an absolute disaster. I'm not entirely sure what's happened there, but it's not good. Even Dr. Ulrich shaking his head and looking actually a little bit woeful.
I think when that camera arrived, the smile went the other way up. He didn't wonder if that was a diplomacy at its height. This is going to be our new leader. This is phenomenal stuff for Audi. Well, it just kept going when the race went against them, and they felt that the pace car had also picked them up wrong out there, but this looks a nightmare time. And Frank Montagny there, as the Spiker comes by here, they're going to unlap themselves and then take the lead here. The 9 car is still 1 lap behind, but this car's going absolutely nowhere at the moment. A whole load of flame coming out of one side of the car.
Well, that would suggest a turbo, wouldn't it, Liz?
It would. That's what it would look like. And then that in itself has looked like maybe it's melted down a few things in the process, because it looked like the car was getting very, very loose behind. So, once you've got a fire anywhere in a vehicle, who knows what damage it's done. That's the problem.
Boys, come and look at the monitor. Get yourself out of the fresh air, and the heads go down, the shoulders go down, and they know. Oh my goodness me! And what were we saying about the Corvettes as well? They've been metronomic in their progress, and all of a sudden, I didn't see which one it was. Did you?
No, I didn't see.
Corvettes 1 and 2, nonetheless. The 64 and the 63 car, and look at this.
Well, Antonio Garcia was on his outlap, so that would probably suggest something there in the 63 car.
Can't believe it, and everybody is going to be wondering if it was their fault. Yes.
I think Mark, you've hit the nail on the head there. That definitely does look like a turbo issue, and it looks like it's probably melted down the tyre, which is why we saw him start to lose the rear, because you can see the flames just engulfing that right rear tyre.
Well, sense of urgency here, how long it takes. This is going to be interminable here.
Well, he's only just gone on to the Mulsanne,
exactly.
There's
got no a long way to go.
Well, they're not going to get that car back, even if those French marshals push it the whole of the rest of the
They'll give it a go. Marc Genet has never given up here either, Liz. And now we've got a massive race on our hands, because the 1 car is down there in 4th place. I think you can more or less just ride off, at least for the time being, the number 2 car. We don't want to be too unkind to them after such good work out there. But suddenly, with renewed vigour here, Audi start hitting it, and the long faces are down at Peugeot. They can't believe it. They don't want the cameras here. It's an emotional time, especially this deep into the race. We've just got under 8 hours to go. 7 hours and 55 minutes. Check that out. My goodness. All that work, all that time. To be fair to them, they have constantly looked absolutely poker-faced. There's not been any celebrations out there, because they had a big attrition rate before we came off our shift last night. They lost a couple of cars essentially They've actually battled their way back. At least one of them, Marc Genet, has been absolutely superb. The pace he's setting at there is amazing, and we're on board with him now. This is probably Peugeot's last hope.
Yeah, well, he's only one lap down on the Audis, and in fact, Nick Lapierre, who's back in the Matmut Oreca Peugeot, he's only 3 laps down. So Peugeot are still in with a shout, but this car definitely out.
Well, if you divide this race up into thirds, Liz, there's a lot still to be told, isn't there?
There is. I mean, we've got a lot of racing left to do, and at this stage in the race as well, the cars start to get a little bit worn. You know, we are talking about, you know, top race cars that have been hammering it for a long time now, and this is when things start to fall apart at the seams. So there's a lot more to happen here, a lot more heartache to happen, I think, probably.
And this moves Aston Martin, the 2 Aston Martin Gulf cars, Adrian Fernandez and Sam Hancock, up to 6th and 7th. And in fact, Philip P from Poole says, "Hi guys, I've been up all night and I'd love a shout and best wishes to Aston Martin Racing. Hope they win the petrol division." Well, Philip P, looks like you're going to get your wish.
Absolutely. Now, this bodes well, bizarrely, for Johnny Cocker and the number 11 outfit, because they needed, I think it was 8 laps to complete based on the leader's pace. He was a lap and a half ahead of everyone else. So they've effectively gained a lap and a half in at race pace. You know what I'm trying to say, Liz?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're not going to get DQ'd if they can manage. If the lead cars carry on at this pace, they will do enough percentage-wise.
That's a very good point, and you can see them in the pit lane. I think they've noticed that, and they will be doing their best to get it going. Now, let's just talk about the man who has just had a big smile and taken it on board that Montagny's had a problem, because Timo Bernhard in the number 9 car, which is in 2nd place, has just done the best time that car has done in the entire race, as if by just hearing down the radio. Guess what, Timo? Step on it and get a pull out there.
It's what you call a heartbreaker, isn't it? Drive that nail home, and Bernhard is really doing exactly that in the 9 car. They've got belief. We said this was a long one. It's always going to be about reliability, and on the reliability bet, surely your token has to be in the Audi camp.
And that's something you can attach to Corvette as well, but not this morning. It is Antonio Garcia. We got confirmation of that now. He was on his outlap, which means Beretta is now leaving from Wolf Hensler. Hensler, of course, in the number 77 Felbermeyer Proton Porsche.
Yeah, that 63 Corvette coming down there. Just a replay for you of the incident which has absolutely hobbled the Peugeot challenge up front. It's going to be Audis in the lead, 1 and 2. Before you know it, they currently now have just arrived. That's how far they were ahead, incidentally, on the Montagny number 2 car. They are now just on the same lap. They will be taking the lead, and effectively they've already unlapped themselves. They are going for it. The pace they're showing out there, Audi, is even more of a problem here for the Peugeots, because it's just showing you what might have been.
And it just makes you wonder if maybe, because we knew Peugeot had been pushing so hard straight from the start, you know, jumping all the curbs, really hammering the car all the time, and you know, there were quite a few train of thoughts, especially from people like Johnny Molim and whatever, that were saying, well, maybe they just sometimes push that wee bit too hard, and that, you know, Audi always pushes hard. Let's not take that away from them. They never go out there and be casual, but they just seem to always have the ultimate goal in mind as well. Just that, you just wonder if maybe they just know how to finish it. Just some oil dry going down there, it looks like. Just showing the surface flag, that is that orange and yellow flag, making sure that the other drivers, you know that there's something down there, and also so they don't run them over, which is really important when coming onto the Mulsanne straight.
Yes, it's almost a Catalan flag, isn't it? Yes, there is surface fluid, and it's all from this car, and the lead has just been taken right now as the Audi goes by. Timo Bernhard is your man in the lead. It's Audi at the moment, and before you know it, Trulli in the 8 car is also going to be just passing by the Montagny vehicle, and essentially just not only unlapping itself, but moving onwards and upwards. Audi 1 and 2. It's just a matter of a few seconds. Phenomenal. And look at the pace that they're maintaining here. They're bullying everyone, the entire field. Get out of my way, we're coming through, because you never ever know, especially the way that Marc Genet is pedaling going out there. He's going to be promoted to 3rd place, don't forget. So it will be a podium position, at least for one of the Peugeots. And then what? Big braking, a huge wins as well from Liz Halliday here, who felt just how tight and challenging that was.
It was, and you could see Timo coming down the straight and actually looking to his left, staring straight over at Sam Hancock as if to say, I really hope you've seen me here and I'm going by.
Audi's Ralph Juttner on the radio to him, just saying, right, this is the strategy now, guys. We're going to have to do what we said last night, steady but solid. Peugeot, we said last night around midnight, fast but fragile, and I'm afraid it's all proving only too true.
Yes, prophetic, Mark, and just still can't stop walking around the car. And he doesn't actually want to go the 10 metres away from the vehicle.
Don't rip it off.
Well, you never know. I mean, he's been on the radio to the team. They may be saying, look, you can get it back. It is possible. I mean, certainly I've driven cars with turbos that have fallen apart. They won't go very fast, but I think possibly there's more damage done there than we can see.
What he's trying to do is get the back of the car off, and he can't do it by himself. He's saying to the guys, help me, but anyone touches it, sorry, you're out. Here we go. That's it.
No, that's not allowed. Oh, wait, is he a marshal or
photographer?
Cameraman. Okay, well, I don't know the rules
still
on that.
Outside assistance,
I think that is not allowed. I think perhaps the marshals just told him that he's done
it. I think that's what it was, which is why.
Yeah, I think the marshals just said outside assistance, mate. That's it.
It's all over, and suddenly all work stops. To be fair, that fire was quite intense there, and they're looking. I don't know whether he's still in radio contact there at that point, but look at this. Huge disappointment for Peugeot, and it is Audi 1 and 2 at the moment on the timing sheets. They've unwound themselves here. And it's not a bar he's standing at the moment, but he wishes it was. We'll take ourselves a commercial break. Huge drama here in the early morning. It's 7 hours, 48 minutes and 10 seconds to go. It's Audi 1 and 2. Peugeot still in the race, though, with 2 cars. Welcome back. You join us as the KSM machine looks decidedly second-hand at the moment. They've straighted right here. It's been a familiar part of the track where incidents have happened here, Liz.
That looks like Arnaud's corner to me. And look at all of the gravel across the circuit. I just wonder if maybe that's caught him out a little bit. If he's come into that brake zone a little bit too hot. But I've got to say, at this stage in the race, unless you have a problem, there just isn't any excuse for losing it in that corner. Because you know it's slippery.
This is the gentleman driver, Jean de Potal, who's gone off there. And as you say, Liz, it's
oh, we can't blame him yet. We don't really know what's happened. You know, I for one had a car that was spitting oil out the back as I came down to Arnaud once, and I spun there, and it's, you know, you just don't know what's happened. But if he has just had a little whoopsie and outbraked himself, that's not really.
He's gone in quite hard, hasn't he?
He has gone in hard. If he can drive that, he can get it back.
Yep.
But he's better off doing that than spinning it and hitting, you know, the front and the back. But it doesn't look great for them.
Yes, one thing is, if you do bring money to the team, you don't generally tend to get told off that much as you're paying the bills. 9 and 8, those are our 1 and 2. It's Bernard and Trullier, Audi's 1 and 2. Frank Montagny in the 2 car. They had such an advantage, didn't they, out there? They were looking so good. Came in for what we thought was a routine stop. We said they hadn't put a bolt wrong all day, and now all of a sudden they're still in 4th place. Can you believe it? But they haven't actually officially been kicked out yet, but we think they will. But outside assistance at the very least. But it didn't look like they could get the back cover off. Nothing that could be done by Frank Montagny. Marc Genet, who's on a real pace at the moment, second only to Bernard, by the way, who is setting the race pace at the moment, a 3:25.446. As the day warms up, those times may just lengthen a little bit, but we saw an absolute steamer from them, from Audi, as if to just prove a point and say, look, we're still full on it, you've got your problems. It kind of drives home an advantage, that sort of, psychologically, doesn't it, that sort of behaviour?
It does, absolutely. And the one thing they've got to keep in mind is that Marc Genet is not far away at all. He will be waiting in the wings for anything to happen to Audi. So certainly the Audi camp is not going to be hanging out and feeling relaxed right now. They're going to be saying, look after the car, but keep it going.
Yeah, it's now they, Mark, that are going to get all poker-faced and serious here, isn't it?
Oh, yes. I mean, just to stress again, we're only 2/3 of the way through the race. We've got a full 8 hours to go. Far longer than a 1,000-kilometre race yet to go. And anything can happen. Marc Genet will just keep pushing now. This is the guy who won last year. He knows exactly what you need to do to win. And that's what they're doing. He's 2 laps down on Bernard, 1 down on Trellier, but they will not give up. They'll just keep pushing.
Been so impressed by Marc Genet. He really is incredibly quick and smooth as well. When you see his performances here, he's absolutely on the mark.
Yeah, very, very much a thinking man as well. He's actually a graduate, a business graduate of Buckingham University. So he spent a lot of his education in Buckingham, just close to Silverstone. So still very popular there. Everyone knows him and comes back to Buckingham occasionally. He's always fated when he goes there.
He's got a little piece of loose panelling here, just on the side of one of those fissured intakes, Liz.
I don't think that's really going to be a major issue for them at the moment, especially the way that it's come loose. I don't think that'll affect them, but I'm sure some people are seeing that on screen and wondering if that will be something they would need to pit for, but I would find that very unlikely.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't look like it's a danger to other vehicles as well, unless of course it snaps off. Yes, just for now, I think he'll continue. We've seen a few cars here with duct tape becoming part of the livery. I suspect we might see a bit more here. It depends on how much time they're prepared to give it. Yellow flags are waving at that point, Liz, where they're just extricating the vehicle.
It's still there.
Yeah, and you'd be amazed how much of a race car you can actually rebuild with gaffer tape. So you never know. I'm not even sure. I think there are some legalities for how many pieces you can build nowadays with that. But
so here is effectively the only other Peugeot in. We're still waiting for official confirmation that the 2 car has been kicked out for outside assistance or not being able to relay back. The Matmut Peugeot, which is effectively a full-on factory machine, is still very much here, and Nico Lapierre takes it out in 6th place.
Yeah, he has stayed on board on after that change. Just having a look down LMP2 then, Danny Watts still leading the LMP2 class in the Straka HPD car, but they've got quite a big lead, a 2-lap lead now over the Brabham car. You remember last night when we were about just after midnight, Brabham had a few problems with that car. Nick Leventis has done his shifts again and kept the car out there in the lead, so full marks to Nick. Good job by him, by Danny Watts, by Johnny Kane, and we're not going to start even trying to forecast who's going to win that class, because as soon as we do, something goes wrong. Just looking at GT2, which is the top GTs this year, GT1 have fallen by the wayside. Olivier Beretta leading for Corvette, Mark Lee behind him for Porsche, and then in 3rd place suddenly now Raymond Larac, the driver from Rouen, who won this race with the IMSA Matmut car in 2007, won the GT2, and they are on the podium at the moment, so good job by Porsche.
Now he's on the mobile. I don't know whether that constitutes outside assistance either these days. No, says Liz. I know, but he's having a rare old chat here. But one suspects that the hand of the photographer may well have been the hand of doom. And I think he's just possibly getting that message right now that there's nothing you can do. I don't think you can actually get one of those off on your own because they're spring clips, aren't they?
No, I don't know actually about the Porsche. I mean about the Peugeot decking. I know they're very difficult to get off in any prototype car, but certainly in an open cockpit one, you'd have to stand in the seat and attempt to try and get off the back and push it off. But even that would be difficult. I don't know about this. Now we've got
body language says everything. The door slammed,
perhaps he's being told.
He's on the stroll here, and Peugeot, nobody knows what to say to each other. There's no words required at a moment like this because you can't give comfort. Oh, hello. Is somebody coming along saying everything okay? No.
That's Bruno Famin we're looking at. He's part of the management there at Peugeot. So it's all gone wrong, isn't it? The glory of France. We had Sebastien Bourdais on pole. He never even got in the car in the race.
There we are.
That car was out and he's gone. He's done his 10 metres away and that's it.
Yeah, they've told him, forget it. And that was the phone call. And so the black marker of doom, I think it's actually marked up as, scrolls through the 2 car here as Frank Montagny takes them.
That brings our retirement with the Corvette now then to 19 cars out of the 55 starters. Very high attrition rate this year, Liz. Is this because they're still running it like a sprint race?
Well, I don't know. I think they've been running it a sprint race for quite a few years now, to be honest. All of the top runners really push like crazy every year. But certainly we seem to have had a huge amount of retirements early on, I think, more so than I've seen for quite a while. And I'm not entirely sure what the reason is behind it. Maybe they are pushing that little bit harder this year.
And I think the point is that they're not just also ran retirements. These are all top runner retirements, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least put his helmet back on so he doesn't want to have to talk to anybody. And
that or carry it. It's probably easier to carry it on his head as well than it is.
Yes, exactly.
Now, I mean, some of you out there were probably noticing that he was on his mobile, and he didn't just carry that around in his pocket casually from the pit lane. They do. Most of the teams do tend to have a little sort of repair kit in the car somewhere, and usually that includes a small, cheap mobile phone as well.
Well, here's one Peugeot that's still running at least, so...
well, there's still a couple on track as well, but yeah, you're right. That'll feel like a limo, soft, compared to what he's been putting up with for the last few hours, and they were going so well. Frank Montagny, that's the back of him we're looking at now, and it's the back of, we've seen the back of the number 2 car as well, and that was the moment it let go. Fire, we think, turbo failure that caused so much damage that car wasn't going to move any further. Had difficulty getting the clips off. I think one may have just welded shut there, and there the reaction of his crew. There are still 2 Peugeots that are battling out there, though, don't forget. The Matmut, the number 4 car, and Marc Genet, who is currently in a podium position, let's not forget that, and going very quickly indeed, and he's only a lap behind our leader at the moment, and he's the quickest man out there, and a 3:21.6 was his last lap. That's 3 seconds a lap faster than the lead car of Bernard at the moment. It is definitely not all over for Peugeot, despite the fact that Audi are 1 and 2, and that's the reason why they're maintaining their focus. We saw a little pep talk by her doctor a little bit earlier on, and he just said, look, get yourselves focused here, and almost immediately trouble started to hit Peugeot.
And don't forget that the other reason Marc Genet needs to keep it going strong here is that he's got Dindo Capello not far away from him at all, waiting in 4th place, hoping to make it an Audi 1-2-3.
Is it the curse of a lead car? In he comes now. This is going to be fascinating because Trillier and Genet will know this. There goes the drink bottle. I don't need any more of that. And he prepares to take off here. Looks pretty routine, but then again, we've said that before, and we've been startled by it.
Yeah, yes, very much so. Remember, these are the Porsche drafted drivers, drafted into Audi for this race, and at the moment, there's a change of the guard, isn't there? Everything's going. James S. here said, we've been talking about GT2. He said, what about GT1? What's happening out there? Well, Celine, would you believe, is leading GT1. The class is rather self-destructing itself this year, particularly with the FI World GT Championship runners such as the Ford, the Matek and Mark VDS Ford. So Gabriele Gardel on board that Celine, and if he can last 7.5 hours, that would be a famous victory for the last ever GT1 runners here at Le Mans.
That's absolutely right. It'll go in the history books as GT1's final champion. I think they're deserved of that, Liz. They've been big supporters of the class for a long time. I think on occasion they've been operating under special rules, but the car's still here, and it's had a long old life, hasn't it?
It has, and Gabriel Gardel himself actually has been driving GT1 cars for as long as I can remember, and I think actually at the moment they're in a good position because they have quite a big lead over the next car, which is the Corvette of Julien Jousse. So they can afford to sort of look after that Celine a little bit. They don't need to push it as hard as maybe they would if they were just a lap off. They'll still need to keep it going, but I would have thought they could just taper it to a time that's safe and comfortable and look after that car a little bit and see how they get on.
Very interestingly, I mean, that Celine is run by Jacques and Debbie Lacante's Labra team, and they're the people who blocked everyone else changing from Magnetti Morelli electronics to to whatever they wanted to use here because of the unreliability of that this year. But here they are, they're in the running, and they are 23rd overall.
How ironic is that? It was part of the complaints within the GT1 division that they were keeping that management system and preventing it. They all had to agree from changing it. Well, they've held on, and despite the fact that you might think it is a bit shaky, well, they're proving that at least for the time being, they're looking good, and a decade of crowd pleasing. They missed last year. I think they kind of thought, well, if GT1 is going to die, we've still got this car. It's going to be basically written into the history books if we don't just use it. They've come along here, they've funded a proper challenge, and right now they're leading the class, which is phenomenal for them. Absolutely amazing. 2 laps they've got on their nearest rivals in the class, which is Jousse in the Corvette at the moment, the 73 car. So we'll take ourselves a commercial break. Don't forget the forum. We'll have another chat with some of you after this.
Welcome back to Eurosport, our live coverage here of the Le Mans 24 hours. And what a dramatic night it's been, but an even more dramatic sunrise. Just as we came back on air, Mark Cole, Carl Kirby, Liz Halliday, we had this man, Frank Montani, pulling off the track with a blown turbo in the lead Peugeot, putting Audi into 1-2. If you're just joining us, that has been an incredible journey through the night. Audi just chipping away at Peugeot. Now Peugeot, only surviving cars, are in third and in fifth place. So huge disappointment. Liz, we're more than 16 hours into the race now. More than 2/3 have gone, but this is just what every driver dreads.
Oh, the worst thing ever, being in the lead of the biggest race in the world, undoubtedly, and having something like that happen must just be a horrible experience. You could see him leaning there on the rear wing of that car, just contemplating the demise of his top running vehicle and thinking, is there anything I can do? And I think at that stage you realize there really wasn't.
Ferrari have dominated this race for the last 2 years. Risi competition, they only have won that race. This year it's all gone against them. They are out, and this man, Giancarlo Fisichella, making his Le Mans debut in the AF Corse of Ferrari F430. He's in fourth place in that class, behind two Porsches and the leading Corvette. And that again has been an incredible story, Liz, this year, hasn't it? The fights going on all through the first 16 hours of this race in GT2.
Yeah, GT2 has just got a huge amount of different manufacturers this year, and a new battle with the entrance of the Corvettes in GT2 as well. Now, on the topic of the Corvettes, we don't necessarily have a retirement yet from that number 39 car. They are still stopped out on track, but it does not say they've retired. And also we can see the Corvette pit from here, we can some of the Corvette pits, and they haven't pulled the shade down yet. So you never know, there might be something going on there that we're just not seeing on the TV. Undoubtedly Antonio Garcia would be doing everything he can to bring that car back, and perhaps he's even speaking with the team on a phone or with them at the side of the circuit trying to get it back somehow. But certainly we do not have an official retirement from them on our list yet.
I remember last year we had problems, didn't we, with a drive shaft in one case, and perhaps a resurgence of that. Coming in then to the pit lane at very high speed, the number 7 car, that is Dindo Capello, locking up there. Look at that, because he's got to get down to the speed limit there. They really on the back foot, aren't they, the number 7 car? They came here full of hope, McNish, Christensen and Capello, but at the moment they're being outshone by the other 2 cars.
But it's not over yet, is it? I mean, we've seen so much change and so many things happen that I wouldn't necessarily discount them from a podium yet. Certainly not. They are running in 4th place. They're very close to Marc Gené's time, and Dindo Capello has just done a fastest sector time for that car for this race. So he's certainly had the orders from the team to push hard and try and catch Marc Gené.
Yeah, and Gené, by the same token, is under orders to try and close that 2-lap gap on Timo Bernhardt and the 1-lap gap on Benoit Trullier. There's 2 Audis, 1-2 there. Just to remind you, Danny Watts continues to lead LMP2 in the Black Stracker HPD, the Honda, and Olivier Beretta is best of the GTs in 16th overall for Corvette.
Well, we're looking at a Porsche insurgent here in the GT2 class now. They'll be loving that, because much earlier on in the race, not even that much earlier on actually, we had Corvette, and Ferrari, and now it seems to be Corvette followed by Porsche, and Ferrari, which they'll be very happy about.
Yeah, we saw Fisichella, didn't we, just a few moments ago. Here is Brabs on board the Highcroft HPD car, but just before that we saw Danny Watts in the Stracker and his familiar yellow helmet. Of course, Danny, a great supporter of Oxford United, and he was at Wembley 2 weeks ago when Oxford took that great victory there at the end of the season. So everything to fight for still. Liz has seen something.
Yeah, it's the 11 car. Sorry, no, don't sound like Liz. The 11 cars come back in, and yes, I'm just going to go and find out exactly how many laps that they do need in terms of percentage at the lead in comparison to the leader's pace to avoid the percentage rule, which would count them out. Do we know?
Well, basically, a car may be excluded at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning at 75% race distance if it has not completed 50% of the race leader's distance. Assuming a dry race, they're saying that a car would likely to have covered 174 laps by 75% distance to avoid exclusion. Now,
it comes down to maths then, doesn't it?
It does, which I'm not any good at. And then basically we're looking at the end of the race. It's saying to be classified, a car must finish the race under their own power and have completed at least 70% of the race winner's distance. So it does come down to a lot of maths. Maybe we could get our friends over in the German commentator group to do that for us.
We'll find out. This is a man who does not want to talk.
He's chatting about, that's Bruno van Dysrik, who's the circuit commentator. He's been a circuit commentator 25 years now. He and Frank are good friends, and I think Frank's actually opening up to him as they're walking along there. We can't hear the public address. It's in French anyway, but I think probably he's giving the story there.
Well, I think in this situation, there's nothing he can do. It's very unlikely that it's anything to do with being his fault. He's done everything he can. You know, I think when that sort of retirement happens, you're upset and you're gutted, but perhaps it's not quite as bad as having an accident or doing something under your own accord.
Here's a team that have been really challenged. They've had just about everything go wrong that possibly can. They've had floor issues, back end issues, just clutch, I think, as well was a problem for them, and it's happened again. I don't know what their issue is this time by, and they may well just fall away here, unfortunately. And once you see those lock-up garage clinker doors get pulled down, that really is curtains time. And 9 o'clock is a rendezvous for them. They've got 1.5 hours to actually get the laps in that they need. There's, as you were explaining, that's the first time check, and then they've got to carry on right the way until the end, and the percentages can beat you even at the very last.
Which is so depressing when a team like this has worked so hard to keep this car going. They've had so many different problems. They've kept it going. They've had it in and out of the garage all night, all day. It would be just so sad for it to fall by the way.